Aretha Franklin performed the national anthem at the Lions-Vikings football game on Thanksgiving. Her rendition lasted over 4.5 minutes. Even the NFL players who weren't protesting anything were like, I gotta sit this one out. I gotta take a knee.
Although they may be looking for you after the people who gave you $6 million read the fine print on your website and see that it says, if we raise more than what's needed, the surplus will go toward election integrity efforts. Or to put that another way...
He did say this, though. Donald Trump said he will not try to send Hillary Clinton to jail. Yeah, he did say that. After hearing this, Bill Clinton said, hey, you promised.
That's right. Trump could charge his own Secret Service agents millions of dollars in rent. Then Trump was like, that's nothing. Wait till you see what I charge them for the minibar. That's where I get you.
I knew we were going to be okay the day after Thanksgiving, when I saw the whole country coming together as one for the traditional Black Friday celebration. Look at the joy in their faces. You know what? I bet this year people didn't even go for the deals. They just wanted to be in a space where they could punch somebody. That's all they wanted.
Headlines and punchlines from last night as we continue now on America Talks Live. Something that is less of a laughing matter, the so-called sanctuary cities, where the mayors there refuse to cooperate with federal law enforcement, and they refuse to help deport criminal illegal aliens, but could change once President Trump is sworn in immediately thereafter, thanks to my old colleague, Texas Congressman John Culbertson, and what he's done behind the scenes.
I have seen to it that the top 10 sanctuary cities in America have already been certified as violating existing federal law, and therefore everything is pre-positioned for these 10 cities, including Chicago, New York, the entire state of California. They will lose all their federal law enforcement money if President Trump chooses to. The president can cut off their money at noon on January 20th of 2017.
Oh, man, I hope President Trump does that. Can you imagine the phone lines burned up after? Can you imagine Rahm Emanuel picking up the phone and calling? Well, we don't need to imagine that, because on the line via Skype is our good friend Peter Morici. Peter, of course, a syndicated columnist and an economist currently at the University of Maryland, College Park, also former chief economist at the United States International Trade Commission. Peter, as always, we appreciate your time here on America Talks Live. My old pal Johnny C, recognizing the power of the purse, your reaction to what he's put in place for the next president.
Well, I hope it holds up in court, because you know they're going to take him to court if they try to do that. But I'm a little concerned about law enforcement money, because if something occurs and there's not enough resources, then they can turn around and blame Trump. Let's get more imaginative here. They're issuing driver's licenses to illegal aliens. It is now officially okay to use those words again, all right? Illegal aliens. Well, my feeling is if they can do it under the law legally, then we should withhold federal highway money from the state of California.
Yes, that's some of the genius
contributors in any local environment. They're the car dealers and the contractors on these big projects. You'll hit the Democratic gravy train right in the solar plexus.
And as you see on the screen right now, if you're at home, those are the sanctuary cities who could lose a big chunk of dough. And if you take away the transportation and infrastructure money, that really can hurt. Calls in order now at 1-877-NEWSMAX, 1-877-639-7629. First to New York for Joe. Joe, welcome to our program.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great.
I just got a thing about Trump telling everybody that he would have won the popular vote if all the illegal aliens didn't vote. And it's true, because he probably would have won Virginia, because the governor of Virginia let everybody vote, the felons and the illegal aliens. And people don't remember that the president said to the illegal aliens, they can vote and they won't be deported. So don't worry about it. And one more thing, Trump does not have a conflict of interest. He's rich already. He doesn't have to worry about it. Hillary is the only one that has a conflict of interest because she had no money and now she's rich.
Using
That's
the
all I
government
got
to make
say.
money. That point's well taken,
sorry?
Joe. I appreciate it. Let me turn to Peter on this. The whole notion of what has gone on in terms of voting, in terms of other vestiges of citizenship just assumed by illegal aliens.
Well, it's a genuine problem. In Virginia, you need an ID to vote. I know that because I live here and I had to show my ID to vote. So, and it's perfectly legal to do that. We do it in a non-discriminatory way. You show your driver's license. If you don't have one of those, you can get a state ID from the Motor Vehicle Bureau, and you can register to vote right there at the Motor Vehicle Bureau. Very, very convenient.
Motor voter. That's the problem is, of course, you don't have to prove you're a citizen once you get your license. So, real problem with that.
Well, that is a problem, and it's more flagrant in some places than others. And I don't know why we cannot require the states to show proof of citizenship when you enroll a child in school, when you traffic stops. If we right now they're not turning over illegal aliens to unless they're criminals, unless they've done.
Yeah, and the first act coming here is a criminal act, but it's worth noting in terms of education, public education, K through 12. Apparently, it was a footnote from Justice Potter Stewart back in the day that has been interpreted as carte blanche, that it's the role of every American citizen to pay for the education of non-American kids who show up. Listen, I think that unless we deport them, I think we have an obligation to educate them. If we're going to let them stay here, then we do. But the thing is, you even have, anchor babies that you come and register them, but the parents are illegal. We should be turning them in. But in reality is the basic organizations of state governments, which is where we can call them out, are not cooperating. And I think that she can be compelled to cooperate. And if they don't cooperate, we should take away federal education aid, federal highway money, things of that nature, so as to hit them where they live. Hey, remember what happened when the feds decided you got to take the drinking age back up to 21? Suddenly all the money for roads was at stake for those various states. One of the states that is in our union is Idaho. I believe Tim is on the line. He's got a point he wants to make with us. Hi, Tim. Hello, Tim.
Is this
I'm sorry, Ken.
that you're talking?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's Ken.
I'm sorry, Ken.
K-E-N, not T-I-M.
Forgive me. Glad to have you.
Okay,
Appreciate the friendly amendment. What's on your mind, Ken?
Yeah, well, I think I called up maybe on the appropriate day. I hear you and your cohorts all the time bellyaching about the liberal left-wing press, and, I've got the perfect solution for you. My dad tried to get the churches of America to do that back in the 60s, but this was too stern a thing for them. You engage in economic boycotts against the sponsor of, as I guess you and your cohorts call them, the alphabet networks, like NBC, ABC, CBS. You boycott every sponsor of them until they get their act in line and they quit. Well, as you practically had a slobbering fit this morning about all of the, in regards to this guy.
Well, Ken, the problem is you can call it a slobbering fit. The man committed an act of terror on the campus at Ohio State. So to react with passion, I scarcely think is a slobbering fit. But to your point about economic boycotts, we've got a professor of economics. The effectiveness of boycotts. Ken, we thank you for the call. What about it, Peter?
You got to hit people where they live, and you have to hit them hard, or they don't have the kind of effect that you want. Now, let's take NBC, where John Harwood was cooperating with the Clinton campaign. All right, that NBC is owned by Comcast, which in turn their president is a principal fundraiser for Barack Obama. Barack Obama has held as many fundraising activities at that CEO's house as any place in the country, and he even admits it and jokes about it. Well, NBC happens to have, about 5 stations that they actually own. And, under the fairness doctrine that the FCC is supposed to enforce, coverage is supposed to be balanced, all right? Well, how can it be balanced if you have people on the payroll, the equivalent of Donna Brazile, who you don't fire for cooperating with the Democratic Party. It's simple. We should talk to the FCC about pulling their licenses in those 5 markets, because they happen to be places like New York, which are really big and important.
And very lucrative in terms of those owned and operated stations. Peter, I'm sorry, that 4-letter word time gets in our way, and Ken doesn't want me slobbering at the mouth, as he put it in his way there from the great American West. It is worth noting in closing, Peter Morici, you have a great new column out on infrastructure and why it ain't pork, why that spending may be good. Look forward to talking to you again in the not too distant future. In the meantime, I'm reminded that NBC stands for no one but Clinton. When we come back, we'll talk to actor Ryan O'Quinn about his new Christmas movie, also this day in history. Stay with us.